Hello and welcome. This is the Market Wrap. I'm Vakil. Well, what we've seen today is a little bit of recovery on the benchmarks, but it's not quite considerable. Also, the fact that we haven't really seen that backing coming in from volumes either. So we're going to wait and watch out for more cues coming in through over the course of the next few days. But for now, we have seen the Nifty advance by around 0.25%. The Nifty currently trending at 10,840. We've seen gains in two sectors specifically. One is the metal pack. As you can see, Tata Steel, Vedanta gaining along with JSW Steel. And the other one is gains coming in the oil and gas space after we get some news that there has been a recovery in terms of Saudi Aramco and the mishap that took place just about a few days ago. So we have BPCL, GAIL along with Indian Oil Corp also advancing in trade and giving some support of to the indices, keeping them buoyant. Britannia, on the other hand, is down 2.9%. Of course, we've seen Credit Suisse downgrade the stock. We got to talk about that in a little more in just a bit. India's housing finance down 3%, Coal India down, and we've seen some weakness in ONGC as well. Let's talk about the broader markets. We have a little more than one gainer for a loser on the NSE 500. Prestige Estates right at the top of the gainers list here, along with Sterlite Technologies. Godfrey Phillips, of course, and I'll talk about that as well. ITI, NMDC, Alembic Pharma, all advancing in trade. ITDC, down. It didn't eventually close on a lower circuit of 10%, but it did lose nearly as much. MMTC down 7%, Bamil Lorry, something like Vodafone Idea, Mahindra CIE, all losing out in trade. Well, on that note, let's shift focus to a bunch of stocks and sectors perhaps that we can talk about. I'm going to start off by the government announcement of the ban on e-cigarettes. Of course, this has been currently the usage of e-cigarettes by smokers in India is not significant. In fact, it's just a very, very, very small fraction. However, we do know that e-cigarettes were on a significant up move in terms of growth in usage. Of course, they're also coming on the back of a very, very small base. But we do have that ban, and that has improved sentiment as far as some of your cigarette manufacturers are concerned, which is why we did see gains in something like a Godfrey Phillips or VST Industries. Of course, while ITC was trending in the red through the course of the day after the announcements, it eventually closed in the green. But we must remember that this ban doesn't do anything in terms of cigarette sales because of the fact that the usage for e-cigarettes is not significant right now. Of course, we are all waiting for the exact numbers, but for now we've seen a little bit of an increase in improvement in sentiment. But on that note, I am also going to address what's happening in the oil and gas sector, and for that I'm going to get in Soumit Sarkar to talk to us about gains today. So Soumit, it's been a puzzling few days for the oil and gas space. What are you reading into this?
Well, it's directly correlated to what Brent crude has been doing. Yesterday we saw a surge in the Brent crude price, and that's the reason we had seen this sudden fall in all the three oil marketing companies, that is BPCL, HPCL and Indian Oil Corporation. And given the fact that Brent crude fell yesterday, again we have seen a strong rise in all the three oil marketing companies, that is BPCL, HPCL and Indian Oil Corporation. Now fundamentally there is actually no relation between crude oil prices and the OMCs, because they do not have any impact, because the oil marketing companies do change the fuel prices on a daily basis. So any change that that happens in the crude prices is actually or should be passed on to the consumers. But what actually happens is that sometimes these oil marketing companies refrain from passing on this hike in crude oil prices to customers, and that's the reason we see such kind of sharp moves and sharp down moves coming in the oil marketing companies whenever Brent crude moves up. And that's what had happened yesterday when Brent crude went up. All the three oil marketing companies fell, and today as Brent crude again fell, all the three oil marketing companies rose in trade today, and we could see all the three oil marketing companies were up in the trade today.
Okay, well, Soumit, thanks for joining us and getting us those updates. So there you have it. That's how OMCs have panned out, and their movements especially linked to the way we've seen crude move. But let me also address one of the big losers in today's day of trade, and that's Britannia Industries. Well, it's seen a knock of around 3%. I'm going to get in Yash Upadhyay to talk to us about a certain downgrade that's come its way.
That's right, Agam. So Britannia was clearly the stock of the day, and it was the top loser on the Nifty as well, down, as you rightly mentioned, 3% and this is on the back of the double downgrade that Credit Suisse has come out with. So not only have they reduced or cut the rating on the counter from outperform to neutral, but they have also cut the target price to 2,750 this time around, as they expect the macro slowdown to keep their FY20 growth subdued, and not just the revenue and EBITDA growth to remain subdued for this year, but for the next couple of years going forward as well. Also, keep in mind that the stock trades almost 50 times its estimated price to earning multiple, and at such a stretched valuation, they'd see limited scope of upside for the counter. As far as the Bloomberg consensus target price is concerned, it indicates almost a 5% upside from the current level, and that is only after the fact that the stock has fallen almost 3% in today's day of trade. So a very limited room of upside for the counter, valuations being very high and the macro slowdown not aiding its purpose. So Britannia Industries was in focus on the back of that.
All right, Yash, thanks for getting us those updates on Britannia Industries. Some volatility there in that large cap name, but as we move in today and for tomorrow, we're going to also keep an eye on what the FOMC does. Of course, the expectation is a 25 basis rate cut, but there is a little bit of an opposition there as far as the Federal Reserve is concerned, as per reports. So we'll keep an eye on that one. That certainly will have an impact on global markets and potentially emerging markets like India as well. And on that note, it's a wrap on the markets, but there's lots more lined up. Stay tuned to Bloomberg Print.